Good morning, students. This is your second video for class 9th history, first chapter, that is the French Revolution. But before we start with this, let's quickly revise our previous work. So we discussed about the immediate cause of the French Revolution in our previous video. We also discussed about the reaction of the people, how they reacted towards the rumor. So today we'll be dealing with page number 4, 5, 6 and 7. If you see page number 4, your first topic is French society during the late 18th century. So basically in this you'll read about the social division of France, you'll read about the successor of the Bourbon family, and you will also read why people were unhappy with the king. So first, in 1774, Louis XVI of Bourbon family ascended the throne of France. So who became the ruler of France? Louis XVI. From which family? Bourbon family. At that time, this family was the ruling family. He was married at the age of 20 to Austrian Princess Marie Antoinette. So Marie Antoinette was a very poor advisor. He was welcomed by empty treasury. So in order to manage his expenses, increase in tax was inevitable. Now you will be wondering why he was welcomed with empty treasury. Because of the involvement of France in helping 13 American colonies to gain independence from their common enemy, Britain. So France and America had a common enemy, and that was Britain. So France was continuously helping, or you can say France was continuously engaged in war against Britain. So war is not only loss of life as well as loss of property. So he met with an empty treasury. He was welcomed with an empty treasury. Now let's move further. We'll see the social division of France. Your social division of France. French society was divided into 3 states. First state, second state and third state. So first is clergy. So clergy were basically the priest. So one who performed the rituals in the churches. This means the priestly class. Your second were the nobilities, that were aristocrats. Aristocrats, or you can commonly say them as ministers or advisor of the king. So your third state were the big businessmen, merchant, court official, peasant, landless laborers, servants, etc. So all these people, from rich people to poor people, were in third state. If they were big businessmen, they were landless laborers also. So the basically what you have to memorize is that first 2 states enjoyed all the powers, but they had no responsibilities. That means they were the one who had all the powers to govern, or you can say to rule, or to advise the king, but they had no share in paying the taxes. It was third state who had to pay all the taxes. They were burdened with the taxes. So first 2 states enjoyed all the privileges. So they had all the privileges. The burden of financing activities of the state through taxes was on the third state. That means third state were the only people who were paying the taxes. Neither first state nor second state. Now, your next topic, if you see on page number 5, is the struggle to survive. Now, whenever there is the word struggle means that people were not comfortable in meeting their basic expenses. Basic needs of the people were not fulfilled. Now you'll read why. So the main reason was the population of France rose from about 23 million in 1715 to 28 million in 1789. So increase of 5 million population. This led rapid increase in demand of food grain. Definitely if population is increasing, the demand for food grain will increase. Production could not keep in pace with the demand. So the price of the bread rose. And remember, in places like France or the Western countries, bread is the staple diet. The way we eat chapati, they eat bread. So bread was an essential commodity, and that was consumed by all, from rich to poor. Since production was less, the prices of the bread rose high. So it was not the rich people who suffered. It was the poor who suffered, because they had less money, or you can say they had limited money. So the gap between the rich and the poor widened. This led to subsistent crisis. Now the gap means rich became richer and poor became poorer, and that led to subsistence crisis. Now what is subsistence crisis? I'll explain. So subsistence crisis means an extreme situation where the basic need of livelihood are in danger. That means people do not have enough to manage their 2 square meals. Now your next topic is the growing middle class. If you see page number 6, the growing middle class and end to privileges. So in this topic, you will be reading 18th century witnessed the emergence of middle class. This was a new class that came up. That was middle class, who were educated and had modern outlook. That means they believed in equality. So these people were educated, they were not illiterate like others, and they had a modern outlook. That means they believed that nobody should enjoy privileges on the basis of birth. So they started demanding to take away the birth-based privileges, and by this time philosophers began to criticize the existing form of government. Not only this, these ideas were made quite known to the people. People began to discuss the ideas of freedom and equality in salons, coffee shops, means wherever public gathering took place. So for illiterate people, what they did was they started reading out newspaper publicly so that people who could not read and write could understand the ideas of freedom and equality. So by this time, literate and illiterate, everybody from the third state was against the form of government, or you can say was against the form of existing government. Means they never wanted monarchical form of government to continue. Rather, they wanted such a government that never treated people on the basis of their birth. Means they wanted to take away the birth-based privileges which was enjoyed by first state and second state. So they proposed such a form of government which would provide equal opportunities to all the people, and by this time they were so clear with the ideas of freedom and equality that they generated a feeling of hatred towards Louis XVI. So this was all that you read in page number 4, 5, 6 and 7. In the next video I will be dealing with the next topic, that is the outbreak of the revolution. Thank you.